Yves Tumor's Praise the Lord Who Chews But Which Does Not Consume or simply Hop Between Worlds just came out, and I feel like I was really hyped for this album. I really just got into Yves' music, and especially with the Lil Yachty album coming out and having a lot of those engineers that were on his last album on Lil Yachty's album, and it just sounding pretty great in my opinion. I was just really hyped for this one and just seeing what he would come out with next, and especially with these three singles, God is a Circle, Echolalia, and Heaven Surrounds Us Like a Hood. I was really excited for this album, and I feel like this one really did live up to my expectations. Let's go track by track. God is a Circle. I love the dark vibe of this song. I just love Yves' vocals on this song, especially with the heavy breathing in the background. It just has an atmospheric kind of sound, giving a wasteland type of feel. And overall, I feel like the sound of the song with the bass and the electric guitars give the song an immaculate vibe, giving the perfect kind of apocalyptic sound. Then we get a Lovely Sewer. I really like the beat on this song with the guitar giving it this kind of weird rhythm and everything just sounding so atmospheric on the song. I really like when they pick up the tempo, and I feel like the woman's vocals sound great on this song. I feel like this is also a thing with Lil Yachty, the women's vocals on just this kind of sound, or the androgynous vocals sound so much better than just like a man's vocals. Yves' vocals sound really interesting, as I like the effect they have on his voice, but I don't really think it sounds as good when combined with the woman's voice, like when they're on top of each other. It sounds a little weird. The drums on the song are killer, especially with the bass guitar in the background, giving this song kind of an impeccable vibe. The piano closing on the song is great as well. Then we go to Meteora Blues. The sound with the guitar at the beginning is a little bit of a switch in vibe, and I think the bass on this song is also really good, but Yves' vocals at the beginning are a little bit subpar, especially with the effects. I really like when the heavy guitar comes in, as I kind of feel like it brings the song to a whole new level. The song is pretty good, especially on the chorus where the guitar is so amazing, creating this bubble of sound that the listener is surrounded in. And then it immediately perfectly transitions into the interlude, which I love the seamless transition from Meteora Blues to this song. And I think the sound with the choir just sounds amazing on this one. You know, I wish we could have had another song because there were 4 singles on this album, but, you know, I'm fine with this. It sounds pretty solid. Parody, I don't really like how choppy Yves sounds on this song, but I really like the atmospheric sound of the song. I actually like the lyrics on this song with the kind of rock stars putting on a different face for the people that they're actually involved with versus their public persona, and then those kind of getting mixed up in their own head. And I think the electric guitar on the second chorus sounds just kind of beautiful and gives me such good vibes. Then we go to Heaven Surrounds Us Like a Hood, which I feel like, in my opinion, could be the best single that he released. I love the guitar building sound and the bass coming in with Yves' vocals. Yves' vocals sound beautiful, and the guitar and bass going off on their own solos just sound amazing. The melody on the song with the leading guitars and the heavy breathing in the background contrasted with the upbeat tempo created by the drums, just amazing. Operator, I love the upbeat tempo on the song, but I feel like the sound of the song just doesn't really have a real melody. The spacey guitar in the background sounds really good and gives it kind of a sound collage type of vibe. I love Yves' vocals on the hellos and chorus as the song kind of begins to build into bigger sounds. In Spite of War, I really like the guitar on this song, but Yves' vocals just don't fit the song that amazingly in the beginning. The guitar on the song is just okay, and I feel like Yves' vocals and the instruments don't mesh as well as they should. I feel like the song is pretty catchy though, and does get a little bit better towards the end. I like the end a lot more. Echolalia, I love the bass on this song, and I feel like Yves' flow on this song works well, but the ums and uhs don't really work that well because I feel like they just don't sound like him. And the chorus is just so good, especially with the super atmospheric bass line. The song is extremely catchy though, and I feel like the ums and uhs really play into that. And I feel like it's kind of a good radio hit for Yves. But compared to the other songs in the album, I feel like it's probably one of the worst ones, and it's just a little subpar. There's not like a really great melody on the song, and I feel like the whole thing is a little bit thrown out just because of the ums and uhs. Fear Evil Like Fire. I love the effects they have on Yves' vocals as they come in so crisp and give the song such a good vibe. The bass line on the song is great as well, and as the song builds, Yves' vocals keep that same sound, which is great. Although this song doesn't really have a distinct melody, I love Yves' vocals throughout the song. I feel like they make it an amazing song. It's just such an atmospheric song that reverberates around the listener. Purified by Fire. The song kind of brings back Yves' older music where he uses samples and sounds to kind of create an atmosphere. I really like the drums on the song, giving it a really interesting tempo. And the sound of the song, especially with the guitars kind of having that wailing sound, the horns in the background giving an elegant sound at one point. And then the song just sounds bombastic and grand at time. And it also kind of chills out, which makes it sound amazing throughout. It's kind of just a roller coaster of sound and emotions when you're actually listening to it, which I feel like sounds great. Then last but not least, we have Ebony Eye. There's just another amazing bass line on this one and some very, very good vocals by Yves and just some really interesting building guitars in the background of the song. The sound of the chorus is amazing. I feel like it works really well to fit these kind of God themes of the album. The sound of this song is just amazing, especially with that same God feel. Overall, this album really met my expectations. I feel like it was exactly what I thought it would be. A lot of really, really good songs. It wasn't really anything that exceeded that, but, it was something that I really wanted to listen to by Yves Tumor. And I think it is something that I'll continue to listen to in the future because there are just some really great songs on this. I feel like he could make something that's like a perfect album, but I don't think this one is it. But I think there is just a lot of really great songs on this, and he made a great album, in my opinion. So, Yves Tumor, this is just a great album, and I feel like, especially when I was listening to like the Lil Yachty type of stuff, and then coming back to Yves Tumor, you see how different their two sounds are, but at the same time, they're really similar, and they have this same kind of psychedelic rock feel, but Yves Tumor is more like depressed and atmospheric and apocalyptic, especially on this one where it's like this album is called Praise the Lord Who Chews But Which Does Not Consume. And it's like, I feel like that's not very godly and it's like more apocalyptic and depressing kind of a feel. And I just really love the sounds on this album. And I think he did a really great job of taking that same sound he had on like Gospel for a New Century and, turning it into this kind of surrounding feel throughout an entire album. Either way, though, this is a really great album, and I'll definitely have to come back and listen to it. This probably could be one of my top albums of the year. I think this is a really great one, and it definitely is competing for it right now. I don't know if it will be the album of the year, but I think he put in a really great effort on this one. And Yves Tumor's Praise the Lord Who Chews But Which Does Not Consume gets an 8 out of 10. It's a really great album, met expectations, and I just had an amazing time listening to this album throughout the entire thing.